We appear to actually be live, holy crap. So, good morning, everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a pleasant day. And if not, well, that sucks. Pleasant days are always preferable. Whoops, I went the wrong way. Of course I did. Of course I did. Hello, Chemic. Hope you feel better soon. Hello, Zawan. Hello, Psychotic. Hello, Grey Wolf. Hello, Saren. Hello, Venters. Hello, Gnarlex. Hello, Rage Roar of the Frost Walls. Excuse me. I'm trying to reduce the amount of coughing I do today, as most of my mornings entail. Hey, Nico. You know, you want to hear something really sad and pathetic? It took me a while to understand what the O / symbol actually meant. That's a good thing. Let's talk about Theramore. Theramore was this terrible ice stain on the terrain, which fortunately our most excellent war chief decided to get rid of in his benevolence. They should have considered themselves blessed to be destroyed by my horde. Yeah, we're dropping some frames here. I'm not sure what's up. Hey, Zira. That looks like it stopped dropping frames now. It was earlier. Weird. Hey, Zira. Did I already say that? So, we will not be talking about Theramore today. Especially since we already talked about Theramore yesterday. We will, however, be talking about the Burning Blade. You might be like, well, who the heck are the Burning Blade? Well, it's actually... There are three answers to that question. First is the old Burning Blade clan, which we'll actually probably talk about more when we get to Mira, or when we get to Warlords. We'll be talking a little bit more about the Burning Blade, since we'll actually be interacting with them and their particular brand of runic magic. At least what I assume is runic magic. What we know about the Burning Blade, to summarize very, very quickly, is that they, I guess we could say it. What we know about the Burning Blade is that they had extreme skill when it came to forging and crafting, specifically fire. Elements of fire, creatures of fire, magic of fire, that kind of a thing. Oh, we appear to have become absolutely powerful. Yes, this fell energy that goes through my veins, I feel unleashed. Yes, yes, good. We haven't really talked about scrolls, so here's the discussion about scrolls. Scrolls are runic magic. Okay, there you go. So, die to the power of the Legion. Everything must burn and die. And everything. I've actually had that happen, psychotic. Power. The unlimited power. It flows through my veins. Clearly this is the Orc's true birthright. What? Oh, hey, right. Back to normal. Whew, okay. Okay. I feel better now that I'm not infused with the power of Deacon. Yeah, I know. Scrolls, as in, like, well, I had one, but I had one on another character. Hey, Permeus. No, I wanted to talk about the Burning Blade, actually, but we'll get to that in just a second at this point. Deacon brand energy drinks turns you into a demonic creature. Wait. That's sadly appropriate given what was happening in the WAG, or is happening in the WAG right now. A Corgimonic creature. I don't even want to know. Speak. The scrolls, Rageroar. The scrolls! It's quite interesting. These rites aren't all that different from the spells which are taught to Horde warlocks. This merits further investigation. Ding, apparently. You should head north from here, Rageroar. Speak with Gore, the enforcer at the Dranashar blockade. He's been in charge of securing shipping lanes for Orgrimmar, and Skull Rock sits right next to his precious dog. I'm certain he'll be interested in picking up where we left off.
Strength!
Yeah, I think we're going to go and use the bike, just because, as much as I hate using it, because it's the dumbest looking thing, and I hate the sound of it. But, it is faster. You're thinking of the Molten Corgi, Deacon. Which someone got to me before. Someone got to before I did. This thing right here. Behold. Which I have, of course. I mean, why wouldn't I? Some of you are like, what the heck's the Molten Corgi? Behold. The Molten Corgi. That's a good question. Because it's going to start next week. And I do plan to go to the Dark Moon Fair while it's up. So. My what video, Sigleaf? I'm confused by your statement. Really psychotic. The hell? There's a goblin here.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm Rizlak, one of Gazlo's boys. Boss sent me to help the orcs here in Durotar. Things have been going good, except for the caravans. Can't manage to keep them safe. Makes my job a little harder, you know. Last shipment, which they promised to get through, was snatched by the Dustwind Harpies of... where was it? Razorwind Canyon? Something like that. I gotta have those supplies. Follow the big canyon to the south. Find the ravine cut in the walls of the east and west side.
Keep it real.
Then yes, Sigleaf? Your question confuses me because you're using past tense, but we're still in the middle of the Lorerun. But yes, I am going through every zone, yes. Gazo just told me once, Rezak, there's one thing we need to know in life, and that's if you want to do something well, do it yourself. I can't deal with losing all the caravans, so I'm just going to take the matters into my own hands. Of course, there's one other thing Gazlo taught me, and that's you can get anything done for a price. You interested?
Have a good one.
Okay, then. That is the intent, Sigleaf. Sometimes a zone is more than one video because of size or length or whatever. But yes. The first few aren't that way because I was an idiot and forgot to chop off the local videos properly. But the video YouTube chop-offs will be per zone. For the most part. Time to kill us some hoppies. Needs me some hoppies. Die, hoppy scum. Oh shoot, I dinged, didn't I? I dinged. I completely spaced. We'll get a ding up here. Because I don't feel like going all the way back down there. God, I'm really out of it today. Alright, fine. Smiley face then. Good. Smiley face. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So you notice I haven't really talked about the harpies yet. Depends on if it's any good, Zone Joker. The harpies actually don't have a particularly large amount of lore, believe it or not. They're surprisingly human-like. In the D&D game, which I want to stress is not canon, they like to go raiding caravans for males to mate with. They're in the RPG again, in the D&D thing, they are apparently extremely filthy, like completely coated in dust and filth and excrement and just some of the most disgusting things you can imagine, which is kind of weird. Fallout, probably Illidan though, honestly. But no, harpies, okay, so originally harpies, the original harpies, I should say, the ones from the long, long ago, were actually night elves who revered, I can't remember her name, the ancient / Loa of, well, of harpies, basically, of that kind of a thing. Actually, I'm sorry, this is going to bug me. I need to look up her name. Hang on a second. What is her name? Aviana. That's her frickin' name. Not bad. Shut up, dog. Sorry. Anyways. So, oh, God. It always takes me a little bit to get going, especially when I've only woken up like 30 minutes ago. Aviana was, okay, so actually there's... Let me rewind a little bit, because there's actually some conflicting reports about this now that I recall it, now that I saw the... Remind myself of the name of the individual in question. So, Aviana is one of the old ancients who fought and died during the War of the Ancients. So one of the old Loa, basically, as we've already described. One of the wild gods, as they're now referred to as. What she is the Loa of is kind of an interesting question, because she's actually described as basically the Loa of the wind, or the sky, or just birds in general, which would make her relatively powerful, and yet she's described as one of the weaker forms of Loa. So I actually have kind of an alternate interpretation, because there's two, like I said, there's two conflicting theories. One is that all of these creatures were night elves who pledged themselves to Aviana and became mutated and morphed as a result of that into these new harpies. The other theory is that these were a large group of night elves, once upon a time, who had really, really pissed off Ashara, and Ashara had permanently cursed them as as Ashara is wont to do, because she's not the nicest person around. Now, the funny thing is, I think we have a combination of both involved as far as what's actually true. What I think happened is that the harpies came to be as a result of Ashara's curse. Now, if you'll remember, Ashara is actually quite strong. God damn it, do I have to? Yeah, it looks like I do. Ashara is quite strong. Myron. Ashara is quite strong, and so the strength of her curse effectively created what would be referred to as a new species, for lack of a better terminology here. And that new species was so pervasive and spread, it basically formed a new Loa out of it. Because we actually have this theory, and I want to stress this is a theory, that whenever something new is introduced to the environment, a new Loa can be formed from it. And there's a couple of possibilities of this happening in the past. Good luck again, Jujus. I shouldn't say that. Good fortune, Jujus. So my personal theory is that, as rather than the Night Elves being descendant of Aviana, I think Aviana came to be as a result of the Harpies that were created by Ashara. That would also explain why she is so weak relative to the other ancients that fought during the War of the Ancients. And it would also explain a few other things about her. That's my take on it.
Time is money, friend.
I'm great at what I do, don't get me wrong, but this is ridiculous. What am I supposed to do, build sandcastles? Hey now, this is just a thing. You got a supplies back for us. That's great. I'll be able to get back to work just as soon as I can find someone to haul these sacks for me.
Be good.
I can breathe easy now, knowing the Harpies won't be bothering our supply caravan anymore. And not one of them no more too soon, either. I hear next one sent some fun little toys in the shipment. You're pretty good at what you do. You gotta track down my boss and Ratchet. Sure he can find some work for you. Oh, don't worry. I wouldn't forget to pay you for the service you provided.
Keep it real.
Now, believe it or not, I don't have much else lore to share about the Harpies. Their society is almost entirely parasitic of other societies. Like, they are primarily a raiding kind of a group. They take and claim meat and resources and otherwise from other nearby individuals. And so pillaging is a fairly common practice amongst the amongst the Harpies. Now, they do like to make their nests, and they do like to lay their eggs, and I don't want to think about how they mate, and I really don't want to think about them being so incredibly disgustingly filthy. They need to roll a will save just to be around them. Excuse me, a fortitude save. Yeah, no kidding, Premius.
Lotar!
You're the one who handled the burning blade to the south. I've got ears in all kinds of places, boy. Word travels fast. The flood to the southwest wiped out a few of the burning blade camps that still pockmarked Durotar. This one was led by a goblin named Fizzle Darkclaw, and believe me, we're better off without him. However, he did possess an orb the Horde is interested in procuring. Who knows why? I leave that to the warlocks. All I know is, I need that orb. Notice there is a bit of a distinction amongst the orcs between what is best described as a sanctioned warlock and unsanctioned warlocks.
Go with honor.
And, I mean, there's something to be said about that, but it is interesting that they bother to make that distinction. Our army needs water, and luckily the elements gave us plenty of that when the cataclysm hit. The water that filled up the canyon to the southwest should do the trick. Unfortunately, the corpses of the thunder lizards that sit at the bottom are, and their electrical discharges are a bit too dangerous. I've got grunts that can lift them out of the water, but we need someone agile to attach the other end of the rope.
Dabu. Blood and thunder!
My associate here has some plans for you I don't agree with. His actions are hasty, uncontrolled, and irresponsible, and you may end up paying for them with your life. Before you work with Gore, first listen to the tale I have to tell you. It's a moralistic tale, a fable, but I believe its lesson will prove valuable. Speak to me when you are ready.
Dabu. For the Horde!
One day the wolf was very hungry, so he ran to the east for some food. He was hungry for Kodo meat. An interactive tale. I like this. I was about ready to start reading, another chunk of dialogue there from the guy. The wolf was lazy. He didn't want to work for his meal. The wolf had grown tired of eating boar meat. The more he ran, the more his stomach growled. Kodo! He happened upon a pair of battling Kodos. Clever as he was, the wolf decided to wait for one to defeat the other. When the weaker Kodo died, the wolf approached and tried to eat it. The remaining Kodo, angry at the wolf's impetuousness, swiftly killed the wolf before he had a chance to eat.
Thrallhall.
The moral of the story: hasty, lazy actions have ruinous results. We mustn't take shortcuts, we must work for our rewards. I've been trying to tell the story to the Enforcer, but I fear his hell-scream worshipping skull is a little bit too thick. Hello, Zagoten.
Victory. Strength and honor.
Ignore the shaman, soldier. Certain powers that be within the Horde demand that I keep him with me, but I assure you, that thrall-loving farseer truly sees no farther than the borders of this hut. Elementals war against one another to the west of here. I normally wouldn't mind, but I need the land clear to secure a broader shipping route to and from the Barrens. The Elementals are normally quite strong, but they are weakened by their attacks against one another. Use this knowledge to destroy them.
For the Horde.
Yes, we must follow Hellscream blindly, to our very deaths if need be. There is no greater honor than dying for the war chief, especially one that hasn't earned that title in any way, shape, or form. Excuse me. So, I don't know, who do you guys agree with? I mean, we've got a couple options here. We can listen to, No, Sigleaf, he's not the bad guy, totally. We don't know that yet. Characters don't know that news. No, it's Leander. Brainless warriors is just all warriors are. We all know that. Brainless warriors. Gonna go kill all of the things for Hellscream the idiot. This is another good example of the elementals being kind of messed up as a result of the cataclysm. I mean, obviously, but what I mean here is this entire area, which used to be a barren, rocky, rather desolate area, actually, and is one of the reasons why it was so hard to survive amongst the orcs of the Horde. That, excuse me, that this, that when the waters come rushing in, obviously the water elementals came rushing in with them. That's another example of that. Let's go get some tainted water, shall we? It's okay, we've got dark shamans to purify it. Let's see. Into the drink. Alright, I'm sure the oil, my aqua motorboat here is spewing, is doing a lot of good for this water they intend to use. Yeah. Oh. There's a new preview, Bitmonk? In which case, no. Obviously, I have not heard about a new preview. Alright, let's just cut his hand off. To get his orb. There we go. No, they're definitely the orcs. Anyways, so there used to be a whole quest chain in vanilla when this wasn't underwater, obviously. To go ahead and go after, yes I did psychotic, to go after the, there was a group of Burning Blade cultists here, and he was the leader of them, that guy. Apparently he didn't survive the process. What a pity. You notice I haven't really talked about the Burning Blade yet. There's not a lot to talk about them. So, the Burning Blade are actually a subgroup of the Twilight Hammer. In fact, they're one of, I think, 3 major subgroups of the Twilight's Hammer that the Twilight's Hammer specifically used to, oh, well then no, Bitmonk. That the Twilight's Hammer used in order to try and obfuscate their existence, basically. In other words, rather than... The Twilight's Hammer actually managed to remain surprisingly low-key and unawares, and most people weren't even aware that the Twilight's Hammer even existed as a faction, because most of their operations were done through these cell factions, like the Burning Blade. We'll see another one when we get to Aberdeen, by the way. Oh, excuse me. God damn it. Now you might be like, well, hang on. I thought the Burning Blade were a clan of orcs that had a great amount of ability to shape fire, and you are totally right. And, again, that is something that was true back on old Draenor. One of the things you'll notice is most of the groups of the Twilight's Hammer have this tendency to deliberately take the... excuse me. Take the... terms from the old days and use them as if they were own. Because the Burning Blade clan... I want to make this clear, really has absolutely nothing to do with the Burning Blade cult, which is the organization that we've been fighting against as we've been going through this area. The Burning Blade clan, well, they've got their own problems. Hi, Darker. I'd raise my eyebrow at you. The Burning Blade clan has nothing to do with the Burning Blade cult. Literally nothing. The only thing the Burning Blade cult is another cult of demon worshippers. That's it. Which was this week's, Little Billy. Because if it's the random fate one, then yeah, I've done that. Excuse me. Here's another one. Also, this is something that is worth noting. This isn't related to the Burning Blade, but it goes back to what I mentioned earlier. Fun little fact, most people's introduction to Dark Shamans was in the Siege of Orgrimmar. But would you believe that the Dark Shamans actually have been under the employ of Garrosh since before that? Now, for those of you who didn't hear my little discussion about it the other day, here is what a Dark Shaman means. There's basically 3 forms of shamanistic elemental magic. One is you make a partnership with an elemental. You work with them, they work with you. And together you form this bond of brotherhood or whatever, basically. And that bond enables you to cast magic with their abilities. Very simple, right? The second is you bind the elementals. A lot of mages actually practice this kind of elemental magic. So in binding the elementals, you basically force them to do your will, to do your bidding, whether they want to or not. That's actually less dangerous than it sounds, because elementals are actually fairly easy to bind. Hey, mind blessed. The third form of shamanistic magic is called Dark Shamans. A Dark Shaman doesn't just bind an element, or bind the elements to their will. They twist them and distort them and corrupt them to their will. They absolutely dominate the elements, and in so doing, change them, in some cases permanently. Dark Shamans are a nasty bunch, to say the least. And that's the kind of organization that Garrosh has working for his horde, because even though he has this big stigma against warlocks, and he has no stigma against anything else, which, again, kind of informs Garrosh as a character, doesn't it? You might be like, well, what do you mean? Well, remember, as I've said many, many times, Garrosh doesn't have a strong center. Nothing he does is of himself, really. So, why is it that he is so against Warlockism and yet is totally okay with all these other horrible, atrocious acts? Well, because he was told that being, warlockism is bad. Demons are bad, And he was told that, and he'd been hearing all his life about how his father led them down the demonic path and how terrible it was for that to be a thing. So logically, demons are bad. But everything else is okay. Twisting, warping the elements, ripping apart, the nature, and using corruptive old god influence, and destroying the terrain, and using monobombs. All of that's totally kosher. But, warlocks? No.
Thrall,
The electricity was one of the only dangers. If those carcasses rot... Was only one of the dangers. If those carcasses rot too long, that entire source becomes undrinkable.
Strength.
See, shaman's tales are nothing but that. A youngling's bedtime stories. The new horde takes what it wants, and doesn't waste time with frivolity. If you get a chance, I recommend you tell Shin and those like him not to waste any more of your time.
Go forth to victory.
You in any trouble? I ask for an orb and you bring me half the goblin's arm with you. I like the way you work. Tell you what, you've already given me a hand. Allow me to return the favor. One of our more useful shamans, Margos, knows more of the Burning Blade's corruption. He speaks of a cave outside of Skull Rock in the mountains. Before you go to Skull Rock, speak with Margos. He is wise. His counsel is valued. Follow his advice, but whatever Margos says, I want you to crush those cultists.
Go with honor.
And that's a quest to go to another zone.
Forth to victory.
So, Psychotic insists we dual wield. What do you guys think? Should we dual wield or should we keep using the big freaking axe? It's up to you guys. So what you're saying, Takoida, is you are totally okay with all the other twisted, horrible things that he did that are worse than demons. In my opinion. I really should add that part. In my opinion, Garrosh does many, many worse things than demonic magic. We actually can't dual wield the big max axe yet, I think. Hang on. Let me double check that. Maybe we can? I thought Titan's Grip you didn't get till quite a bit longer on. Yeah, whatever. Frickin' Scorpion. Come on. Or Diagra. That's fine. Very well. We are now Fury. We are now the great burning fury of the Legion. Or wait, no. There you go, guys. Just for you. Oh, demons are absolutely an issue, but in my personal opinion, like I said, the atrocities that Garrosh does are much worse than demons. I mean, seriously. He is just the... Whew. And I'm not talking about Theramore, even though that one bugs me, because he basically dropped a nuke on a city that was a non-military target, but whatever.
What do you need?
Welcome, Rage Roar. Word has reached me of your coming, and of your exploits in Durotar. You are a warrior of growing skill and renown. Stay on the true path, and your future will be great indeed. Rage Roar, the burning blade has infested the cave east of Orgrimmar, known as Skull Rock. Inside that cave they perform vile rituals and burn their own flesh with searing collars. By wearing these collars, I believe the cultists attune themselves to demonic power. But to confirm this, I must have a collection of the collars to study.
Be safe.
Oh, sure, why not?
Loktar.
Ooh.
Go forth to victory.
No, we'll be showing that off in person, Zawan, when we get to the Siege of Orgrimmar. Because it's one of the most disgustingly horrible things I've ever seen in this entire game. And again, much worse than demons. Anyways, you orc, stop a minute. My boss, Spiketooth, sent me to look for help and supplies. You don't appear to be a merchant, but you can probably still help him out. He's just to the southeast of there. Oh, and tell him I sent you. I want to make sure he knows I'm not just slacking off over here. I like how this guy's title is, or excuse me, guild is slave driver.
Strength and honor.
Vecnick sent you? Without telling you I need wagon wheels, nails, and rations? Idiot.
Farewell.
I own a couple of gladiators that I put to competitions around Kalimdor. You can see most of them chained up around here. We were lucky to rein in the ones after the cart broke down. Gisliana, that Naga over there, she's lost her last 3 fights. She could use a tune-up, or a bit of a thrashing. Go challenge her, I'll bet even you are stronger than she is.
Victory.
Griswold, chained up over there on the cliffs, is my newest gladiator. We found him just south of here, sniffing around with Northwatch soldiers. I had my men nab him, and now he works for me. He looks tough, but he hasn't really been battle-tested yet. Go fight him so I can see if he's worth keeping around.
Strength.
I would normally keep Tonka as a captive due to their close relationship with the Horde, but this one is a traitor, and a criminal to boot. Exiled by his own tribe, he canoed down to Ashara and was found stealing supplies from Valarmok. He would have been put to the axe had I not been standing by, wallet in hand. Gar is my winningest gladiator. I'll bet you 10 silver you can't beat him.
Dabu.
Okay, so we're gonna fight slaves. Slave gladiators. Can I just kill the slaver? Is that a thing I could do? I mean, slavery has existed in the Horde, even under Thrall's time, but it was never open, and it was never, allowed, basically. As you might imagine, that has changed under Garrosh's rule. Speaking of things worse than demons, enslavement, while we're on the subject. I'm here to challenge you in combat. Do I even have that ability? Nope. Seriously, I don't even have Wild Strike. I don't get that till level 18. What do you want, Ark? This is weird. I basically have one ability I can use right now. And who are you? Hey, it's a Worgen.
What can I do for you? You wouldn't want to see me when I'm angry.
Apparently not. Oh, I guess I do have execute now. I guess we'll put it there. Things were... Nah, that would break the counter, Lurker.
Mukra.
I watched you fight out there. How long you been a warrior? Yeah, about a day. You're alright, kid.
Farewell.
I'm at a crossroads now. You defeated him easily in combat, but then again, I did get him for free. He's pretty cheap to feed. Maybe we'll keep him around for a bit.
For the Horde.
Here's your money, but you better make yourself scarce before I reconsider my policy on keeping Horde slaves.
Dabu.
I'm sorry, I have to do something real quick. This is really important. While I'm doing that, I'll answer FM Nito's questions there. Excuse me. Actually, I've heard that argument said a few times, that Garrosh was not actually that bad of a person. As you might imagine, I don't actually agree with that comment. Especially since he was that bad of a person since before Kata. However, it actually is Takoida, legitimately and totally. Unfortunately, game mechanics are currently tying my hands. Sort of. Very sort of. I'm telling you, Garrosh is totally okay with slavery. Even in Cata. Yeah, there's some Durotar people there. Well, okay, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Garrosh has no strong center. He doesn't actually, No, I don't know what you're talking about, Dakota. There is still a boat to, Kalimdor from here, right? I mean, that's a thing. I'm pretty sure. It's going to be right there. Pretty sure that's still a thing. Anyways, as I was saying, and so most of what he espouses is stuff that he himself doesn't actually believe in. It's just stuff, what's the difference again? It's just stuff that he, has been told to agree with or told to care about. For example, he has so much of a respect for Saurfang that he automatically assumes that Saurfang is correct about hating demons and hating, and you must claim to honor. And yet the thing is, okay, Garrosh has what I like to call fake honor. And in fact, I plan to do a big, long talk about fake honor in the future. But it boils down to this. There's actually two kinds of honor, really, when you boil it down to it. There is individual honor, and there is cultural honor. I can actually describe the difference between these very, very simply if you happen to have watched Star Trek. A person with individual honor is Worf. He has his own code of rules and his own personal thoughts of honor, and that's what he cares about. And he will even suffer outrage and injury and defeat in order to maintain his honor. Cultural honor is Gowron. He is actually an extremely dishonorable person, if I was to say so. However, that form of honor that he espouses, the form of honor that he has in excess, is cultural honor. In other words, basically a form of standing within the culture and society. And so there's a set period of these are the rules you should follow when it comes to a given society. And these are the things that you should do that are considered acceptable by this culture. But it doesn't matter if you do them or not. It only matters if other people see you doing them or not, and don't see you doing the opposite. So again, Gowron, who is a bit of a bastard, really. I like him as a character, don't mistake me, but still. He has no problem being extremely dishonorable as long as no one actually finds out about it. Oh, I agree. Gowron's way better than Duros. Just, whew. So that's the difference between the two. Now, what does this have to do with Garrosh? Well, Garrosh is kind of a twisted version of both of these. He has his own version of honor, but that is so his own personal honor. But that honor is something that he has been told. That honor is something that isn't actually legitimately something he cares about, or he has his own code of rules or whatever. It's just an arbitrary set of check marks that has been put upon him. And so he insists that everyone follows his personal code of honor, because he is the war chief, and he is the one who determines what is honorable and what is not. So, to make this point really, really clear, to Garrosh, launching a surprise attack on an enemy who is unaware is dishonorable. Oh, probably way longer than that, Django. Launching a surprise attack against, an unawares enemy, that's dishonorable. Okay, that makes a degree of sense. Launching a devastating, brutalizing attack on an awares enemy is okay. Enslaving an enemy is okay. Torturing an enemy, that's okay. Kicking out parts of your own troops because they don't agree with your mentality, that's okay. You are absolutely 100% wrong, Zone Joker. This will accomplish something very, very important. It will make me feel better. And I have very little feel better in my life right now, so I'm going to take what I can get. So it's such an arbitrary thing. That's why I call it fake honor when it comes to Garrosh. He doesn't actually have any real sense of honor of his own at all. All he cares about, all he has is, you must not do these 3 arbitrary things. Everything else is totally okay, though. Yeah. I can literally picture Garrosh being kept on a leash and just occasionally like, alright, go fight in that direction. Fighting in this direction. Of course they do, Takoida. You know, John goes like, I hate Arsh, and he stabs me in the chest. There must always be thunder, a Lorerunner. Oh yeah, by the way, Theramore. We just actually passed over it there. As you can see, Theramore's just fine. There's nothing wrong with it at all. So no worries, guys. Theramore is 100% in good shape. I'm a little shit. I have heard about it, Django. I 100% doubt it will come out, because even if they actually finish it, which is very unlikely, what is also very, very likely is that they're going to be blasted to hell and back by copywrong. In fairness, that might not be copywrong, but the point is, there's no way in hell that that'll be allowed, you know? Oh, God, mind blessed. Yes, Garrosh stood trial. And during the trial, I know, Nira's. I'm not going to be a dick about it. I'm going to pause for a moment. And then I'm going to kill him. Anyways, unfortunately, this is on a different server, so I won't get the satisfaction of coming back and seeing his corpse. But anyways, so what happened in very brief summary here is Garrosh went under trial, and the idiots of the Ancients, the Celestials, were going to go ahead and be like, yep, he's totally free. And actually, fun fact, according to the writers, Garrosh was actually going to have finally been reached by Anduin, until Kairos shows up and says, I'm going to break you free, and we're going to go make a new horde in the past. And to which Garrosh's response was, awesome, I can't wait to kill everything. Alright. There's a player there. There's a player there. Alright, I'm going to wait patiently. The player just hearthed. Fantastic. Ah, for the horde. He's not even flagged. He's not even flagged. Look at him. Dude, screw him, Zoan Joker. He's a slaver. His life was ended the moment he chose to be a slaver. All I'm doing is making sure his body finishes the rest of the journey. I'm just going to stay logged here, I think. That was actually really satisfying. Okay, so, moving on. I can't free the slaves, so I'm not even going to try. I'm going to pretend I freed the slaves. Seriously, in my headcanon, my warrior here killed the crap out of him. Again, that is actually a rather acceptable response to be having in character, is just killing the crap out of this guy for literally, ignoring the fact that he's a slaver, which is disgusting in its own right. The fact that he actually threatened to enslave you, the player, who in this case is an orc, yeah, no, that's a duel to the death situation there. So we killed him, and we freed the slaves, and then we move on. So one, I really don't give 100% of a damn what society thinks about slavery. I think slavery's bad. So I will more than happily kill every slaver, ever. Yeah, ever. I think ever is a good answer to that. So, moving on. Burning Blade. You know, the funny thing is, I've actually thought about a good time to talk about the War Crimes book. And obviously the best time is when we get right into when we get up to the point where we go ahead and go into Warlords. But the problem is, as was pointed out, War Crimes just has so little relevance to anything. The only actual thing of significance that happened in War Crimes, really, was the event with Sylvanas. Nothing to do with, you know, the entire story arc of Garrosh actually had any relevance or significance at all. And the rest of it was just weird padding fluff. I told you guys about the scene where Jaina discovered her way to let go of her hatred of orcs because of her love for calicos. I told you about that scene, right? That's how pointless that damn book was. Yes, demonic power. Demonic power. Yes, good. The idea of Ventures is well, it's actually kind of up to your interpretation, because of the weird thing about MMO time. So the actual answer is it's up to you, Ventures, to determine that. Yeah, Garrosh was like, what is the point of this? Yes, good, good. Ah, damn! It went away. I'm trying to think if there's any other scenes in that book that actually mattered for anything. Well, actually, Nero says, all of my characters, my actual characters, not these Lorerun characters, are actually, in lore, coordinating with each other. They're not actually Horde or Alliance. They're part of a different organization that doesn't actually, you know, that is neither Horde nor Alliance. It's both, or neither, actually, would be more accurate. So, yeah, in lore, it would actually be very easy for the actual character who was going through this stuff to send a message to the rest of the group and say, there's this guy here who really needs to die. And they would say, okay. And then he would die. And it would be glorious for the true Horde.
Speak, friend.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry.
For the Horde.
I'll go ahead and turn to this quest, but you gotta hear just how stupid this thing. Remind me to tell you about the other Calicos thing that's stupid about that book. Have you entered Skull Rock yet? Ah, good. Hiding within these colors is the secret behind the burning blade. And I will tell you that's secret.
Strength.
Ding is the secret.
May your blades never dull.
Unlocking the secret of these colors is beyond my skill.
Thrall Hall.
The searing colors you brought me are powerful demonic implements. Divining their origins is, sadly, beyond my skills as a shaman. We need a warlock to study them. Take a searing collar to Arnak Fireblade. Although he is a skilled warlock, he professes to use his power to thwart demons and claims his researches in the occult is benign. Be that true or false, we may need his aid against the demonic cult in Durotar. You may find Arnak in Orgrimmar.
For the Horde.
Wait, what? Oh, God damn it.
Speak, friend.
There we go. So I gotta tell you about this stupid scene, okay? So, one of the things that Kairos does when he frees Garrosh is he opens up a bunch of pathways to the, and I quote, most twisted, dark, warped alternate timelines he could find. One of those timelines happened to include a timeline in which Jaina actually destroyed Orgrimmar and then was murdered as, or I shouldn't say murdered, was killed as a, well, as a counterattack, basically. Because, yeah. I mean, really. Kill every warlock ever. Done! Also, frost mages are not enslavers. As we've actually already discussed, there are multiple forms of elemental communal thing. Anyways, so, now the dark shamans I'm okay with wiping out. What was I saying? So the God damn it. I need to stop paying attention to chat for just a second. Alright, so they showed up they had all these alternate timelines, and one of them was where Jaina actually wiped out Orgrimmar, and then was killed in response to that. And the Calicos of that particular setting was wild and enraged and infuriated, and he was evil in death and darkness and horrible, terrible things. And, as he was, I I'm sorry, I'm just amused by this. As he was fighting the rest of the group, our Calicos reached out to him and said, "No, my friend, this is not the proper path. You must understand, it was not your fault what happened to Jaina. You must understand that Jaina caused her own fate, and you must come to grips with your past, and together we will forge a new future." And it's just, oh my god, it's
What can I
bad.
help you with?
I mean, the idea isn't bad, but the way it's executed is just so terrible. Holy crap.
Go forth to victory.
I admit I am biased against it. I will freely admit that because I hate the alternate timeline BS anyways. All sorts of alternate things from alternate timelines and alternate garbage so they can bring back whatever they want to freely and without care. I get really sick of that. No. He's totally over Anvina. And Terragosa. He's totally over them. Totally. He's got Jaina now, dude. He's distracted.
Zug.
Ah, my most humble greetings, warrior. How might I help my orc brother today? Ah, where'd you get this? Good Margot sent you to me, did he? Well, let me get a closer look. Since the last great war when the Burning Legion was defeated, I have searched for sources of demonic corruption in society. This color you brought me confirms my fears. It belongs to the Burning Blade. Your role in this tale is nearly complete. Go to the Barons. So I'm just going to go ahead and mention something here in advance. This guy or actually, I think it was a different guy. But it was the Warlock who was here back in Vanilla was actually a member of the Twilight Hammer, which I found hilarious. Who was actually running most of the... who was running most of the show, so to speak, from within, basically. So, we were actually turning in all of these, no, I haven't, Zagon. You'll have to tell me what you mean by that. We were turning in all these "we must fight the demons" quests to him, including the quests actually in, that's an interesting point. In Ragefire Chasm itself. No, I'm not in Narrow's Edge. It goes to Barons, dude. We're not going to the Barons. I've never figured out what that drum is. I'm serious. Every now and again, I'm hanging out in Orgrimmar and I just randomly hear a drum sound, and I have no idea what's making that noise. I thought it was an add-on for a while, but, I mean, I literally have one add-on running on this character, and it's Transmog. The Mogget thing, so I have no idea what's doing that. I've never figured that out. This is when someone in chat's gonna be like, "Oh, it's something real simple and easy," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, well, thanks for telling me." Also, to download this game, just go to Battle.net and, go download the WoW trial, and bam, you're done. Possible? I haven't hung out in Stormwind with the sound on in an exceptionally long time. Apparently it's a clock thing. Got it. Because it just turned 11. Okay. Got it. I told you it was going to be some really simple, basic thing. Interesting. That's going to completely change the strategies Zagon. I'll have to see how that works out. In about 3 weeks now. Give or take. Alright, so before we move on, we must help these survivors of the Cataclysm. Excuse me, ma'am. May I help you?
Zug.
Today marks the anniversary of my son Corin's passing. As long as I refuse to admit it, I recognize it now. Kron is not returning from his Crocolis hunt. I've been working on a project, something that will memorialize Kron's passion for the hunt. It's a Crocolis tooth necklace, rows and rows of teeth, suitable to be worn by only the bravest young orcs. I will place it on his grave. Kron was brave, but he was not strong. We bring me the teeth for his necklace.
Be safe.
I've been playing WoW since Alpha, basically, so... Anyways, no, Psychotic, I never watched the Olympics. I have never been interested in the Olympics. No offense to anyone who is, I am not one of those people who's interested in it. This is an interesting quest. We actually get a variety, or an assortment of teeth from these crocodiles rather than another thing. This is also an interesting quest because we had a quest back in Vanilla. Again, I'm going to be pointing out how the quests tie into Vanilla as we go. The quest we had back in Vanilla was she was wondering where her son had gone off to because he had gone off hunting crocolisks. And as we went off, and why? Because they're actually dropping multiples. Psychotic. Oh, because you saw the 250. I'm guessing. Yeah, 250 crocolis teeth. She's gonna make into a necklace. I like that. Anyways, we were going to go and find her son. We didn't find any sign of him for a bit until we killed a particular crocolisk and discovered his remains in the crocolisk. So, yeah, he actually died back in Vanilla. And as she points out, she's kind of been in denial about it this entire time until finally she's like, okay, no, he's dead. He's actually dead. And I know he's dead because the previous adventure, the one who went through Vanilla, brought me his bones. Also, some people are asking about the timeline woogity-woogity. For me, it's actually somewhat simple, relatively speaking, in terms of timeline. Most of my so-called old guard, the ones who went through Vanilla and who went through BC and Wrath, are the ones who actually went through those events and therefore actually have those events attributed to them. Everyone else, by contrast, like my newer characters since then, the ones who went through Kata, are the ones who started playing as of Kata and therefore have only been active in Kata, Pandaria, and Warlords. Even though those characters technically did stuff in BC and Northrend in order to level, that was in the past and therefore doesn't actually count. Again, another example of MMO time. Fun fact, I was actually thinking about it. Technically, we shouldn't actually do the Night Elves first. I hate to say that, but it's true. Actually, wait, hang on. Where's my list? Something just occurred to me that we could do. Yes, I do, One Joker. Pretty recently, actually. And yeah, hence heirlooms, pretty much. Yeah. Hey, game over.
Strength and honor.
Crom will be remembered. Thank you, Orc. I'll get to work on the necklace right away. Before Kron died, I had made this for him to wear. I have no use for it now, but maybe you might.
May your blades never dull.
No, Cold Ninja. I have not. I was told it is a very not me game, and so I just kind of stood clear of it. In lore, yes, Nero's has. Again, it's also kind of up to you to decide how that works out. One of the natures of MMO time is the fact that the player gets to decide what happens when, to an extent. Or I shouldn't say what happens when, but more like who does what is actually a better way to put that. So, for example, for me, I pretty much adhere to the way things actually are outlined. But some people prefer to think that their characters that they made in Kata are the characters that actually were functional in Vanilla and therefore did Outland and Northrend. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, some people didn't actually have characters back then, right?
Mokra.
Where are you? What happened? I was alone in my hut, meditating when... I remember now. The spirits cried out and the river swept in. I'm lucky you found me here. I am old and no longer able to endure the elements like this. Why are you kneeling in the water then? Whatever. Let's go take you to your grandson. Let's get out of here. Hey, Benoth. I got your back. No, die. Well, we did kind of set him up to be a new, extremely wealthy individual, based almost entirely on that frickin' elixir. So, I mean, yeah, you know. That's what I thought. Yeah, in Kata and Pandaria and Warlords, they tended to improve the escort quests a little bit. They did that starting in Wrath, but yeah. There's also probably my favorite escort quest in the entire game in Oldham. I'm serious. wading in waters. Let's make this a little bit easier on ourselves, shall we? Spirit of water, come to our aid. Before the events of Pandaria, a very small number, relatively speaking. If there's no literal number, but the generally accepted consensus is it's less than the Bilgewater cartel goblins and less than the Worgans of Gilneas. Also, how did they leave? They didn't leave Pandaria. No, my ankle! I'm not sure I can make it. Ugh, spirits of air, come to my aid! So she's not a bad shaman, really. Anyways, but yeah, no Pandarans actually left Pandaria prior to MOP. You are referring to the Pandarans on the Wandering Isle. Although I suppose, I guess, okay, okay, I am wrong. Hang on, let me rewind my statement a little bit there. Hey, you're a little bit, I'm down here. Anyways, so some Pandarans did leave Pandaria over the course of the last 10,000 years to go to the Wandering Isle. So, however many Pandarans are on the Wandering Isle is the answer to your literal question. I assumed you meant how many Pandarans came to the rest of the world from the Wandering Isle, which is a much smaller number.
For the Horde!
Grand Matron, you're alive! And you literally came floating in on currents of air. That's kind of weird, actually. My great mother was a powerful shaman in her day. I thought she'd lost most of her powers in old age, but I suppose some things stick with you forever. Hello, Progressive. Welcome back.
Something you're doing?
The Quillboars are a stain on the land, and not even the river can wash them away. They told me to evacuate, but I told them my job was not done. I hate Quillboars so much. I will kill everything. Chen was not actually from Pandaria. Chen was from the Wandering Isles. Once upon a time, years and years ago, one of the Storm Stouts left Pandaria to go to the Wandering Isles, and that they'd carried down the family name. Chen had actually never even known his people or known his home, actually. Death to the Quillboar. And to the living! Oh, sorry. So this guy as well, I suppose I should keep talking about the vanilla stuff. This guy was a quest giver who really hated the Quillboar. Especially because they wouldn't stop with their squealing and their oinking. Because they're big people. So he sends you off to kill them. And there's this whole thing about how he believes that the Quillboar need to be wiped out as a species. And horrible genocidal stuff like that. Oh my god. Because the orcs actually took Durotar from the Quillboar tribes as a whole. So we're actually the conquerors here. Fun fact. No, we haven't, Psychotic. Nor will we. Ragaron has appeared to calm down since your last encounter. Good, good. One step closer to eliminating those beady-eyed, basket-wearing, hog-nosed, 2 feet, hunchbacked, squealing, prickly, no good, no-loving... I will not rest until they're all defeated. Slay them all! Okay, okay, jeez. God, I'll go kill everything. This guy has some anger issues. Let's just be honest about it. So yes, the Quillboar were actually doing pretty okay, relatively speaking, as a culture. Other than the things I already told you about when we went through the Tauren Starter Zone, Moldor. And, there's a... Anyways. Anyways, so, and then the Scourge came along, and like so many other things, the Scourge just kind of completely permanently altered the cultural fabric of the Quillboar. And in fact, as much as it's a really small story, I wouldn't mind seeing what, the long-term ramifications are of the Scourge's impact on the Quillboar. We'll probably never see it, though. It's such a small-time thing. So, by the way, I just feel like pointing this out. She's dead, Fallout. Earlier today, for reasons that are best left to the ages, I was roaming one of the WoW forums that I frequent, just to check for news and whatnot. And there was this lengthy post explaining how there's nothing to do in Legion. Let me say that again. Hey, Order. What's up? Again. Hi. Yes, I do. Yes, I know Zoan. So, yeah, someone was... And I want to stress, this was either a well-written troll or someone who was legitimately trying to complain about how little content there was in Legion. An expansion that isn't out yet. And he started going down, you know, point by point on the thing, like, okay, well, this is going to be very little content, and this is going to be very little content, and this is very little content, and I'm just like... I've been busy, Order, as you might know if you look at my VODs right now. And hey, Wraith, I'm sorry, I'll stop streaming all day, every day.
What do you want?
I'm totally lying, I won't stop. You've done well, stranger. I'm sorry you had to see me like that. Thank you for killing the Quillbar. But maybe you should leave before I fly into another raid! But his entire point was that because there's nothing to do in Warlords... Yes, he is in the alpha. Because there's nothing to do in Warlords, clearly Blizzard hasn't learned their lesson, and they keep trying to make things that aren't actually content. Oh hey, I still have water walking. And yeah, he's first of all, he's basing that off the alpha, which I'm not even going to talk about how stupid that is. But second of all, his entire point is, in Warlords there's nothing to do, which I'm not even going to try deconstructing that statement by itself. And Legion is clearly just another Warlords, so there's nothing to do in Legion. Now, I'm being a little bit derogatory, but that's the basis of his argument. He compared point by point what Warlords added content-wise and what Legion is adding content-wise. I absolutely think they should make Warcraft 4, while WoW is still out.
How you doing, man?
Oh, yeah, don't worry. Sinjin not making any trouble. He just been studying what happens when the river overflows. You see the big birds that stand on the riverbank? Zenjatis thinks they're in trouble. The earthquake and the flood pushed the plane striders over to the side of the water. But they can't fly back, and they're too scared to swim. They'll die if they stay here. Zentaji doesn't like violence, but maybe you can attack them. Scare them over to the other side, yeah?
Later.
Okay, so I have to attack a bird without killing it in order to scare it enough to go back across the water so it can survive. Okay. I can make this work, maybe. Maybe no? Oh, don't even joke about that, Nerazos. Don't even. I don't even want to think about that. One thing I really wish we had, which we don't, and I've actually thought about this for some time. I wish we had a leapfrog content production system at Blizzard. I know that's expensive on their behalf, and that's why they haven't done it. But, oh, that'd be nice. Oh, these are the guys I'm supposed to scare about. I'm like, I don't see anything. Right. Go! Go be free, little plane strider. I will save your lives. Go! Shoot. Okay, hang on. Let me unequip my massive axes of doom here. There we go. Okay. Gonna do this like a true orc warrior. With my fists. Pah! Go across the water, young one. Be safe and free. Yes, good. Sorry about killing your comrade over there. Didn't mean to. Yeah, no kidding, Permeus. It's okay if you just debuff them, you know. Yes, I know, Nero says, and that's what bothers the crap out of me. That's why I don't even want to think about it. Alright, for the Horde. You might wonder what I mean by the leapfrog system. Well, here's... And it isn't a very expensive thing to implement, and it also would be much, much more difficult to implement than it sounds. The general concept is you have two completely separate teams producing content, actual fundamental content, zones, quests, that kind of a thing. So, one team is working on this chunk of content, other team is working on a completely separate chunk of content. So the idea is the releases will be like this. That actually speeds up the content production. Now you might be like, well, why don't they just do that? Well, first of all, hiring an entirely new team to do content is expensive. Let's make this clear. Second problem, there needs to be a huge amount of organization to make that work, both in terms of the writing, we don't want another Burning Crusade to happen, and in terms of actual technical gameplay and bugs and glitches and whatnot. Because remember, these people are working on a build that will go live that these people don't see. So these people doing this content may change the server in a way that causes these quests or these raids or whatever to be bugged. And therefore, there would need to be a huge amount of coordination back and forth between those teams. So actually, you need to hire a third team. So we've got these two content teams and then a third team whose literally only job, their entire job, is to go back and forth between the two teams and to coordinate and to make sure that on a technical level and a communication level and a writing level, the two teams are together. This is why Blizzard has not done this. This is why most MMOs ever in general do not do this concept. It is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult to actually pull this kind of a thing off. And it will actually cause some significant issues. Now, it's funny that you bring that up, Nerozaz, because that didn't quite happen. There weren't two teams. There's more like a team and a half, or like a team and a third. And the other third of the team was working on the Legion stuff. Remember, Legion's been worked on since before Warlords, hell, since before Pandaria ended, to put it into perspective there. But, again, it's still the primary content team is working on ironing out most of the actual content that's come out. So, yeah. And now, the other problem here is, you might say, well, that they have enough money to make that work, and that is true right now. Justifying that in the long term is the hard thing. WoW has dwindling sales. This is just an unavoidable fact, as I've already pointed out. We haven't reached their plateau point yet. Eventually, WoW will bottom out. It will reach the point where it is plateaued, and this is how many people will eventually be subscribed to the game and will stay subscribed to the game. The numbers will not dip from that point, basically. Again, this is the same thing every MMO goes through ever. This is common. So once it reaches that given point, justifying the level of expense that would require to handle basically two additional entire new teams is something that is going to be very, very unlikely to happen, and might not even be worth it from their perspective. In fact, it might literally not be worth it. Some people don't understand that the single most expensive thing when it comes to any business is actually salaries. That's the primary expense here. And hiring two entirely new teams, that's a huge new expense that's being added on a regular basis. That's a repeating expense, not a one-time expense. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't love for that to happen, but at this point in time, I think it is extremely unlikely that WoW's numbers will go back up to the point, ever, to be honest with you, where that is justified. I hope I am wrong about that.
Who you be?
Hello, Magister. What's up? I love all the little animals. I love all the little animals, man. I love the big ones, too. I just hate to see you hurt them like that. But it's for the best. Many creatures died when the water came rushing into the valley. The raptors, however, they thrived. They're clever predators, and they've been living off the misfortune of the other creatures. One of them raptors is particularly cruel. He's killing the little animals and letting them rot in the water, without even eating them. He goes by the name of Screamlash. If we're not careful, he could seriously disrupt the balance of nature. Go slay him. Give his body back to nature.
Be seeing ya.
I could do that. Well, okay, fine, Dakota. In every business that I'm aware of that involves electronic production, like the business that Blizzard's in, salaries are the highest expense by far. There. I've added the asterisk. Is that better? You guys love to technically me. Actually, the Raptors made them for themselves. The Raptors are actually semi, if not... the Raptors are very intelligent, is basically what I'm trying to say here. And so they actually have the ability to make those necklaces and make those armbands and all those themselves. Wait, did Gul'dan take the skull? Oh, I missed parts of that conversation, apparently. Sorry, I was getting so distracted by Takoidas. Technically, yes, in the field of business that I was talking about, my statement is true. I swear.
Hey there.
Something's happening to Screamlash when the Cataclysm hit. Zendaji thinks he wasn't always so violent and irrational. Thanks for your help. Zendaji's gonna get back to his studying now.
Okie dokie.
Ding Mon! Ultra Ding, one might say. Mega Ding! Ultra Mega Ding. If Gul'dan finally got ascended as an artificial demon, well, that's kind of what we think Gul'dan has wanted all along. So it wouldn't really be that surprising. And in fact, I'm sure Gul'dan would be very happy about that. Only the females, though, Lurker. I'm kidding. Well, I've been thinking about that, Magister. And looking at my notes here, it doesn't really matter which race we do first. We can do... we're starting our Kalimdor run next, basically. So we could do a Teldrassil or the Wandering Isles. Now, I gotta admit, I'm kind of inclined to do Teldrassil first, just because Teldrassil is terrible. It's the least changed of all of the new zones in Cataclysm, so it's almost just the same as it was in Vanilla, with like literally two major exceptions. Well, two exceptions, basically. And, yeah. Well, I can tell you what is a natural demon and what is an artificial demon, but the real difference boils down to the nature of their creation. It is possible that there is no actual fundamental difference between the natural demons and artificial demons once they have been crafted into that. With one really big exception. Natural demons do not... oh god, Anvilmar. I still think Teldrassil was changed less than Anvilmar. Well, okay, no. I know Teldrassil was changed less than Dune Marog, because Dune Marog had the new gnome stuff. Teldrassil has nothing. However, you're absolutely right. Anvilmar is just... Really, guys? Anyways, what the hell was I saying? Right, so a natural demon is not negatively influenced by using fel energies. Some artificial demons are influenced negatively by using fel energies, and of course most artificial demons need to constantly feed on magic in order to exist and survive, whereas natural demons don't. Furthermore, there's also a third classification which is super, super rare. In fact, to my personal knowledge, there's actually only 2 entities ever that qualify in this third categorization. And that's basically crafting an artificial demon that has all of the qualities of a natural demon. And those 2 entities would be Archimonde and Kil'jaeden. So.
Thrallhall.
I used that trick you taught me with the spyglass, and I watched you running around. Very impressive. How'd you make the old woman fly, by the way?
Be safe.
I used the power of the Horde. For the Horde, my brethren. But yeah, so, they basically didn't change the Dwarf starter stuff at all, which is a damn shame, since they should have. There's actually a fairly significant change, at least politically speaking, with the Dwarves after the Cataclysm. And you'd think they would acknowledge that and acknowledge the direction they're going with that, but no. the Anvilmar stuff and the Dwarf Starter stuff is basically the same stuff. The only thing that's really different in Doom is the gnomish stuff. But anyways, we are now done with Durotar. Ba-bum. So, we're going to go ahead and chop off our local stuff for YouTube for this going live. So for those at YouTube, hope you enjoy the rest of Durotar. Hope you'll see us tomorrow with Teldrassil.